Welcome along to today's video, and today we are going to be showing you how to replace your steering linkage as a complete unit. Now the E39 M5 and also the E39 535i and 540i don't use a conventional steering rack system like the other 6-cylinder BMWs do. They use a recirculating ball box and a drag link affair. Now to change this, it is super simple, but the parts are pretty expensive. BMW fit as original equipment TRW, drag link and ball joints, so I've opted for a TRW drag link, but I'm fitting Bilstein ball joints. So the track link for the right hand drive cars from TRW is JCY105. Make sure you buy the right hand drive version, as the left hand drive version is slightly different. The right hand drive version has the end joints more angled towards the back of the car, whereas the left hand drive version is identical to look at, but all the threads are the different way around, and the ball joints are maybe slightly different as well. The track rod ends I'm going to be using Bilstein. Feb is a top quality make, and for those of you who've gone and uprated your suspension on your M5s, you may have done the same as me and put Bilstein B8 shock absorbers on, which are pretty much the top of the range for the car. And the part numbers for these are 12684 and 12683. Make sure you get the correct ones, as they are handed left and right. So what do you need tools wise to fit the job, to make this fit? Nothing fantastic. 17mm spanner, 19mm spanner, a ball joint splitter, and you'll need, it is a special tool from BMW. This one's made by Coco, and the part number is 321190, and that allows you to separate the ball joint from the drag link on the steering box and the pitman arm on the passenger side. So the first job we need to do is remove the front road wheels and then get the car up in the air. Now, I'm not too fussed about checking the alignment at the moment, because once the new track rod ends and tie bar system are fitted, and I'm going to be doing a complete laser alignment here in the garage, which I'll be showing you how you can do at home as well yourself. So I'm going to be raising the car after removing the road wheels. I've driven it up onto 40mm ramps already to give me better access underneath. And then I'm going to use the BMW jacking point located on the front subframe. So it's right in the middle of the front subframe, and you can get your trolley jack under there, and it gives it a good second secure jacking position that is BMW approved, and it'll give a safe centre of gravity for your jack. Then you can get your axle stands under the jacking points at each side. Make sure you loosen your road wheel nuts first, otherwise you'll struggle to do that once the vehicle's in the air, unless you're using an impact gun. If your jack has the ability to allow you to install a central locating pin in the jack pad, then it's a good idea to use it, as the subframe on the E39 M5 has a locating hole to get the jack pad central, and I'm pretty certain that's also similar for the 6-cylinder variants as well. So it allows you to put the pin bang in the centre of the subframe, so when you're jacking it up, it's going to be absolutely central with no issues of it being wonky and one-sided, and this allows you to lift the car in a lot safer manner. Once you've got the wheels and tyres off and the car raised up and firmly secured on axle stand sitting on the rubber jacking pad, then you'll be able to inspect inside the wheel arch at your components, and you can check and change anything else while you're in here as well. All this was done before I took car off road for winter, so big brakes, PB8 pot kit with 352 fully floating discs, Bilstein B8 shock absorbers and Intrax springs. And this is the part here which we're interested in, the tracking adjustment system and steering linkage. So ball joint on the hub, then onto a pitman arm at the bottom of the steering box, and then through the other side, just to the drag link at the bottom of the steering box, then to the other side to a pitman arm which maintains the steering arm geometry on the passenger side, and then identical ball joints on the other side. Also, as you can see, I've polybushed the car out already. So I've got Powerflex black stuff, thrust arms, track control arms, and then the purple ones for the anti-roll bar. It's highly recommended that you change your bushings for polyurethane items, then you don't get any nasty thudding under braking, which is normally the track control arm movement laterally, which is there, or the thrust arm, which is movement in the reverse direction towards the rear of the car as it takes any slack. Also, by putting poly bushers on, you eliminate any issues that may come from the vehicle with any sort of wheel wobble that can be a problem. If you turn the steering wheel full lock, you'll be able to get easy access to the track rod end ball joint and then the drag link ball joint. These on the new items are 19mm, on these it could possibly be 18mm as these are the original ones. So once you've undone these two, then you can get your ball joint separator in, pop them off, put the steering lock the opposite way and do the same again for the other side. Once you remove the nuts securing the ball joints to the arms and hubs, then you can get your splitter in and remove the ball joints from the hubs. Now, normal ball joint splitter for the hub, easy because there's plenty of access, but for the joint on the arm, then you're going to have to use the smaller one, which looks very similar to a windscreen wiper puller. If you're not going to be reusing the arms because you're replacing the entire kit like I am, then you can get away with giving these a good hard crack with an hammer on top, and it will just pop the ball joint straight out of the hub. But if you are reusing, then I suggest you use a ball joint splitter. Also, you might need an impact driver to remove the nuts off the ball joint tops, as they can be quite well corroded after years of road grime and stuff building up on them. So if that's the case, give them a soak in WD-40 for an hour, warm them up with a blow lamp, and then you'll find that they'll pop off with no issues at all. Once you've popped off the outer ball joints, then you can get your tool in for the inner ball joint, which holds the rod arm to the pitman arm and drag link. Now, I've managed to get this done so far without removing the under tray. I thought I'd have a go and see if I could do it that way, and I have been able to. It's a bit tight squeeze, but you can get everything in that you need. So once that's been popped off, I'll do the same for the other side. Then I will remove the drag link through the driver's side. Once you've removed the entire assembly from your car, you can put it on your bench and have a look at the condition and check for any sort of issues that there might be. Now, upon inspection, all the ball joints are nice and tight on this. There's no damage to the ball joint rubbers and protective seals, and there's no free play in it. Now, you might be wondering why I'm replacing it. There's no record in the service history of the vehicle of it ever being replaced, so made the assumption that it was the original kit. It might be, it might not be. There is just no way of telling. What I can tell though from inspection of the ball joints and the overall condition of it is that it is in exceptionally good condition, and if it is the original, then for 123,000 miles it's done exceptionally well. Now, being an engineer, I can tell you that this hasn't done 123,000 miles. These ball joints are far too tight. The overall condition of it is far too clean, so it's been replaced at some point in the last 6 years or thereabouts, judging by the lack of corrosion on any of the parts on it. So what I'll do is I'll probably keep that as a spare and put it in the tool cupboard along with other spare parts. To get the new one set as a rough setup before you put it on the car, put it side by side next to your old one, and then measure the distance between the centres of the ball joints on each side to get the distance between them the same as the one you've taken off. Then that will give you a rough guide to within a few millimetres of what it was before. So if you want to then take your car down for alignment or tracking, if you don't have a facility to do it at home or in your workshop, then at least you're going to be able to drive a vehicle with the steering roughly pointing straight ahead without causing any undue damage to your tyres, especially if you want to go in a mile or so. So I'm going to set this up, refit it to the car, and then I'm going to leave it as it is, because once I've replaced all the rear suspension arms and parts, then I'm going to do full four-wheel laser alignment on the car. A note before you fit your track rod ends to the track rod itself on the drag arm, give it a coat of grease on all the threads, then wind it in, make sure there's plenty of grease inside because you don't want any moisture getting in there. Then should you want to make any adjustments in the future, you're going to have no issues with any sort of seized parts, which is possibly going to be an issue with this one. Now that the rods have been adjusted so that they have the same length between ball joints on each side and the overall length is the same to within a millimetre, the kit can be fitted back to the car. Refitting is quite simply a reversal of removal. Make sure you leave your ball joint covers on for when you're feeding it under the subframe, because you don't want to damage any of the rubber covers. Then make sure you take them off before you fit it to the arms, otherwise that'll just be a bit stupid. If you want to know where to get these parts from, I got mine from mrauto.co.uk, and the track arm was just over £100 and the ball joints, track rod ends, were just over £18 each. That is the cheapest I've found it anywhere online. The TRW track arm at Euro Car Parts goes for just shy of 300 quid. Most other local car factors it was around about 220 to £230, so I was well pleased with that for the price. Even if it had to come from France, it still came overnight, so there's no issues there. And same for the ball joints. I've also ordered all of my rear suspension parts from mrauto.co.uk, and occasionally from time to time I'll put a 10% discount code up as well, which makes it even better. So if you're spending 500 or 600 quid on parts, then 10% off it's not to be sniffed at. So it's a good 60 quid. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and please keep tuned for more videos on how to do various bits and bats on your car. And definitely watch the laser alignment video, as if you're able to get this done at home, you're going to save yourself £50 or £60 plus the effort of going to the tyre place as well. And if, like me, you do a lot of track days, then you'll want to keep a regular check on your alignment to make sure your tyres don't end up like this. Completely ruined on the inside. Still plenty of pickup on there from my last track day. But these tyres have done about 3,500 miles in 2 years. So they're well ruined, and they're going to be getting changed before the wheel goes back on the car. So they're Falcon FK452s on there, superb tyre. I've got FK453s on the back, and I'll be sticking with them and going for them on the front as well. You can get them from most major tyre outlets. I use a place called eventtires.co.uk. They come to the house, fit the tyres, no issues, and if you do any damage to the wheel rims, then they'll pay for them to be refurbished, which is fantastic. So I'll pop them links up in the bottom of the video for Mr. Auto and Event Tyres, then you'll be able to have a look yourself and get some decent prices on your parts.